Hey guys, welcome to DevOps Pro English channel and Helm for Beginners series. In today's video, we will be learning about Helm Template Functions and how to use them. Functions are a common term. You must have used functions in some programming languages before. Speaking about the definition of functions, a function takes an input and performs computations or operations on that input as instructed, and then returns an output to us. Let's take a look at some basic Python functions. So the print function is used to display a message. The length function is used to calculate the length of any string. And the type function is used to know the type of the input given. So these are multiple functions that we already know and have used in many programming languages. We can also use the same functions inside Helm Charts for multiple purposes. So today we are going to learn about that. So that I can practically explain functions to you, I have already prepared a chart template with a myfunction name. In the template section, we have only one file available to create a config map. We want to create a config map with a name derived from the values file, and append it with the suffix config map. In the data section, first, we have myvalue, which has the direct value hello world. Second, we have drink and food whose values we want to fetch from the values file, corresponding to the drink and food variables. To pass these values, we also have a values file where we have passed all three parameters along with their values. We are providing the name test. We have provided tea in the drink and pizza in the food. And if we run the helm install command now with the --dry run option, which means we do not want to install the chart but want to see how the chart will be created and what files will be generated and deployed in the cluster. So, when the file generated by the config map comes, if you look at it, the three parameters we are passing are coming exactly as we want. But let's say we want to perform some operations on the parameters that the user is inputting in the user values file. For example, here the value in hello world has the first letter capitalized and double quotes applied. But there are no quotes applied to the values of tea and pizza, and they are also in lowercase. So what if we capitalize whatever value our user passes, and also apply quotes using Helm? To perform this operation, we need to work with functions. To use functions, you have to go inside your template and where you want to apply the function on any value, you need to put a pipe operator in front of that value and then you can pass any function by writing it here. For example, if we want to capitalize the values coming in the drink, then we will write upper here. So now whatever values come in the drink will be automatically converted to uppercase by Helm. After converting to uppercase, we also want to apply quotes on it, so we will write another pipe operator in front of upper and use the quote function there. So now, whatever value of the drink we receive, it will automatically be converted to uppercase and double quotes will also be applied to it. To change the values in the food section, here we will use the function title after the pipe operator. The title function capitalizes the first letter of our passed value. And whatever output comes from the title function, we will pass it again through the pipe operator into the quote function to apply quotes to it. So now, if we save this file again and run the helm install command, this time when the YAML file gets generated, you will see that the values inside drink and food have double quotes applied to them, the drink value is in uppercase, and the first letter of the pizza value is capitalized because we passed it through the title function. This is how we can use functions in Helm templates. To see another use case of a function, consider that the name of the config map we are taking from the values file is not provided in the values file and left empty. In such a case, the config map will not receive any name and an error will occur at runtime. So, what if we set a default value in the name field and even if the user does not provide any value in the values file, they can still create a config map with our default value. In such cases, our default function comes in handy for providing a default value. There are two ways to use any function in Helm. One is what we just saw, where you can pass any value to the function using the pipe operator. In the other way, you can write the function in front of the values to use it. So, if we want to provide a default value for this name parameter, we will write default in front of values.name and whatever value you want to set as default, you can write it in double quotes. In this case, we are providing the default value as my function. Now, if we once again remove the name field from the values file and run the Helm template command again, you will see that this time our config map's name is my function config map. This means that it has used our default value this time. This way, you can use the default function to provide a default value for any field so that even if the user does not provide one, no error occurs at runtime. Now, suppose we do not want to provide a default value. We want the user to provide the value, but we do not want them to leave it empty. We want to somehow make this field required. This is where the required function comes into play. The required function takes two parameters. First, any message that you can show to your user if they do not provide this value, and in the second parameter, we specify where we will get this value from. For this, we have already written values, .name here. So, within our message, we write this value is required. So now if we save the file and run the Helm install command again, and this time we have not provided the value in the values file, it will give us an error with the message that can be understood by anyone as config map name value is required. In this way, you can use required functions to make any field required inside the template and inform the user that the field is required. Today we learned about functions and also learned that Helm template functions can be used in two ways, with the pipe operator and without the pipe operator. These are just a few functions that we saw today, but Helm supports various types of functions. To know more about Helm template functions, you can search on Google Helm template function. You will find Helm's documentation here, where you will get a list of multiple functions, such as cryptographic and security-related functions, date functions, dictionary-related functions, encoding, file path, and Kubernetes and chart-related functions. You can read about any function here and use it in your Helm chart according to your use case. Today, the functions we used were our string functions. Make sure to refer to this documentation and try out what we practically did today. You will also find the link to the GitHub repo in the description box where you will find the chart we used today. If you liked the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share our videos with those who want to learn Helm. See you in the next video with more interesting topics related to Helm. Thank you.